There we go. All right, so good morning, class. If I weren't here when I said it before. All right. Today, I wanted to finish up our discussion um just about your narrative essays. Um if you need the prompt for this essay, it is in the what module is it for you guys? Oh, it's still in that writing a narrative module. All right. So and then it's the final item in that module. So if you need the prompt for that rough draft, make sure you look over that. Or yeah, make sure you find it. Or better yet, well, you can go over it, but also, you can watch the recording of our last session where I went where I went over what the expectations are for that assignment. And just so you know, or just to reiterate, that rough draft of that assignment is due Tuesday, right? Tuesday. So you got, today and the weekend and all that, all right, to get it done, but make sure you get it done because you don't want to just put yourself behind, all right, with this assignment. So the way that it's going to go is this, right? You submit an assignment or you submit your assignment. I will read it, of course. All right, and return it to you with feedback. And then once you've received your feedback, you and I will schedule a one-on-one Zoom conference to go over the feedback, and we can talk about just strategies for revising your paper to make it the best you can make it. All right. So again, my good people, if you need that, if you need the prompt for that assignment, just check in the check in the writing a narrative model. All right, and we'll continue with that. Or we'll continue that discussion today. But before we do that, all right, and I guess what I'm about to say is kind of interrelated, to what we're about to do. But I just finished reading your narrative reflections, all right, and they're in your assignment folders. Okay, I put them back, where you sent them, so you can check your assignment folder whenever you get a chance. And what you'll see when you look in there, you'll see your original assignment, but then there's another copy, and that's the one with my feedback. All right, but now you're probably wondering why I got this Microsoft Office page up here. Okay. And this one may not look exactly like yours looks if you've used the that Microsoft Office link that I've put here on our D2L page. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. All right, so if you click this link and then just follow the script, right? Put all your credentials in there. Just reply to the email or just the confirmation email. That gives you the online version of Office. So when you sign in to that online version, you'll have a home page that looks something like this, even if it doesn't look exactly like this. And then if you look, you'll have this option, install Office. That puts it on your computer. All right. Now, if you have a Chromebook, you won't be able to do this. Why? Because Google, they tend to be like very proprietary, meaning like they don't like you putting, other non-Google softwares, on your computers. So if you have a Chromebook, then you're going to have to keep using the online version of Word. But for anyone else, like if you have a MacBook or if you just have a PC, use this option, install Office. That gives you the entire suite on your computer, like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all that good stuff. All right. So I said all that to say.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you prefer? What kind of laptops should we buy, like in general for college? Like, what is your best preference in
Um,
like?
I would say first off, just one that is within your budget, but you can get a decent computer that does everything you need to do for college for about
Mhm.
a couple $100. Just I would say if you can try to avoid getting a Chromebook, just for the reasons I just mentioned, it like limits the softwares you can add to it. But
Okay.
you don't have to go out and break the bank on a computer for
No, I just want one in general that I can use throughout the whole like for all my courses.
oh yeah, just get a PC. Um, and I'm not biased against Mac users, against MacBooks. I like an iPhone and I have an iPad, but when it comes to computers, I do like a PC. So yeah, I would say let's see. Somebody may have put a suggestion.
Yeah,
I'll
I
get back
want
to you in a
something
second.
that'll be with me throughout the whole 5 years.
Yeah,
So,
just get one with a good amount of RAM. Like you can get a cheap one for like with 8 gigs of RAM. That's plenty. And RAM is like the computer's brain, that you can do multiple jobs at the same time. But 8 gigs is plenty, for a college student. And computers with that, amount of RAM are relatively cheap these days. So look at this is one of my go-to spots for computers, for computing stuff, Micro Center. All right. So you can just look at this site and sort of like price some. All right. And this is Micro Center is in Madison Heights or Troy. All right, but they do like online shipping and everything. Check out Amazon as well. All right, but you don't, like I said, you don't have to spend a lot on a decent computer. All right.
okay. Yeah,
Just
I
try
just
to
want
avoid
something that I can
Chromebooks.
use for all my courses, like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
for everything.
yep. Okay.
Okay.
A decent computer. And to be honest, these days, even if we weren't remote, you pretty much need, your own computer these days for for college or just for school in general. Like my daughter's in high school and they like everything is digital, even before the pandemic, right? Another thing about that, we just as like faculty, we just got an email, or did I read it on the website? I can't remember. But the money, right? Your COVID relief money, or the 400, or the 400 was the minimum, right? That 400, it should be in your account, or it should be rolling into your account. So check your school email for updates about that. But you should already have, that 400. Okay.
Do
If
they
you
send
don't,
it?
go ahead.
Do they send it all together, or do they send it? Because I've only got 149 so far. Like I got a check for 149.
Yeah. I was thinking they would send it as a lump sum, but I don't know. Okay, to be
Okay.
honest. That would be maybe a registrar's office question. All right. So investigate that, man. All right. Or if anybody wants me to investigate their money, just email me your social security number and your checking account number, and I'll look into that for you.
Okay.
No, nobody do that. Nobody do that.
Oh,
Nobody. Yeah, nobody
I
do that.
thought you were serious.
No, no,
Okay.
no, nobody do that.
I was really gonna give you that
No,
information.
no, man, no. Even though I'm pretty trustworthy, but you should don't give that information to anybody.
Oh, I don't, but I'm
Yeah,
like, you're my professor. I don't think you're gonna do
yeah,
anything
man.
wrong.
Man, professors be out here scamming too. No, no, I'm just joking. All right. So yes, folks, but always, always, always investigate your money. And then that's another reason, aside from FERPA, that's another reason I want you to just be checking your student email, because that's where that information is gonna go. Okay. Yeah, there was don't worry about the discussion question yet, Mary. That's for anybody. Don't worry about it just yet. I meant to still actually, yeah, I meant to still have it hidden for you guys anyway. All right. So back to what we were talking about with Microsoft Word. Now, we are about to start this new essay, right? Again, if you need the prompt, I'm in the writing a narrative module right now. If you need the prompt, it's right here, right? Just click on it. Okay, and then you can go through it in all of its glory right there. Or also, I've started our Zoom recordings module. Like today's recording will be in there. And then if you click on the module, I'll put Tuesdays in there. All right. So if you want to hear an explanation about the essay itself, just go in and just watch this recording, or you can read the prompts. Pretty self-explanatory. But just a couple things before you even get started on that. All right. The main thing is, as I've been saying, we've been talking about the writing process just a little bit, but one of the main things before you get started, make sure you're in the right format. All right. I was reading over your reflections, as I was saying before, and there were not a lot, but there were more than a few, that had formatting issues, which is okay because it was our first assignment. All right. But just from now on, make sure you're using proper MLA format. All right. And that's just name, instructor name, class, and date to the left, and then last name, page number on the right. All right. And then make sure you're properly double spacing as well. Okay. All right. Now, when you're ready, all right. So this is properly MLA format. Got my name, instructor name, and class and date here. Got my last name, page number here. I didn't eyeball it, like I used insert, and then I went over the page number and used plain number 3, or excuse me, top of page and then plain number 3. So don't eyeball it and type it in manually because it's going to throw off the format of your entire paper. All right. Make sure your rough draft has a title. For your rough draft, I don't care what you call it. Narrative rough draft is just fine, but be sure that your final draft is going to have has a title. All right. But if you notice my title, I didn't use bold print or italics or quotation marks or anything like that. I just kept it basic. All right. So that's what MLA is. It's basically uniformity. All right. And I know I just went through that kind of fast, but if you need a tutorial, just click on this MLA documentation resources module on D2L, and bam, okay. Just look at this document, right? MLA formatting example 1510. It's even customized for your class. Okay, I just hit the drop down arrow and hit download. Yeah, Word has been in like slow motion for me the last couple of days. Maybe because I've been using it so much. I don't know. All right. Yeah. So what you want to do is make your paper look like this. All right. You see how everything is like uniformly double spaced? There's no extra lines skipped between paragraphs or anything. Also, if you go down here, this is an explanation of how to get your page numbers up there properly. All right. If you're using Google Docs, the options may be a little bit different, but this is for Word. And since we all have access to Word, whether it's the online, let me take that back. The online version may not give you the same page numbering options as well. All right. But if you're using this version of Word, okay, it's just insert page number, top of page, plain number 3. All right. And 12-point font Times New Roman. Okay. So just make sure you're like, hopefully the more times you do this, it'll just become like an automatic response, meaning like when you get a paper or when you get Word open or when you get whatever software open you're using. All right, let me set my paper up real quick in MLA format. Okay. So just be aware of that when you're doing your rough draft. All right. And then there's just a few things I want to say about your reflections, and hopefully we can transfer this over into our rough drafts. All right. one of the goals of our rough drafts is to get your ideas out on paper. Okay, we're gonna go back and revise it. We'll have a conference about just the steps you can take to revise your paper. But one of the things I do want you to avoid in your rough draft is filler statements. What do I mean by filler statements? A filler statement is this. Now we'll really amp up the filler. I before E. All right.
Professor
So,
Norwood,
yes.
how do you, where are you? I do not know how to follow along. I am just so lost. I don't know where you are. Where are you? Like, how do you get to where you are? Do I go to course home, content, discussion?
go
I
to
don't know where
content.
you are.
Right now, I'm just looking at
so
a
lost.
Word document like this. What I'm looking at right now, this is just something I'm kind of doing on the fly. So this
Okay,
isn't,
thank
this
you.
is, this isn't from any module.
Okay,
Right?
carry on.
Yeah, so
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine, man. Okay. But I
That's
think
why I
it's,
tell you his YouTube page helps.
right,
Helps a lot. It helps
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm not used to online. I don't know, like I'm just
Same.
very.
I can't keep up, but hey, I go to his videos
Right.
and
Okay, hey Brett. I see Brett. Hey Brett.
And the thing about it is, like, if anybody, like, if you're following, or if you think you're falling behind or you're lost a little bit, yeah, just make it known. I'm okay with going over stuff, a second and third time. That's cool. All right. And then I
Okay.
think Amalika and others, I mean, those are important questions to ask, man. Where am I?
Yeah, I just
Who
want to
am
be.
I?
I just feel
What's
so
my purpose?
comfortable following
That's
along
right.
with you. So
Yeah,
okay.
that's all right. So no, just tell me to stop or slow down or whatever. It's cool. Okay.
Okay.
And then, as Era said, you can watch the archives. All right. But no, I'm okay with going over this stuff because the goal is for us to get out of here, with something. And I know, like, being remote, it presents its own set of challenges. So no, I'm cool with that. All right.
Okay.
But all right, back to what we were saying, right? Filler statements are statements that we put in an essay, and we may not even be doing it with this purpose, but they kind of take up space without saying anything, right? Like, why do you need to tell your reader that many people have beliefs or everyone has a different belief, right? Like, what purpose would something like that serve in an essay? And to be honest, your reader is probably like, oh man, another one of these. Okay. So try to, and I know it's difficult, but really I want us to get to a place, and it might not even occur in this class for you, but as long as we're moving in that direction, right? But I want us to get to a space in our writing that every sentence kind of has it means something, or it serves a purpose. Okay. So when you're putting your rough draft together, really focus on your experiences. Okay. Really focus on making that belief come to life, or better yet, really focus on making your experience come to life. Okay. And when you have these empty statements in your paper, it kind of takes away from that purpose. Like, you could be saying something else that really speaks to your idea instead of having one of these filler statements. So if you feel yourself, or if you catch yourself writing something like this, go back over and say to yourself, or ask yourself, what can I say in place of this? Okay. Or better yet, once you've finished a draft and you're going back over it, because you might need these filler statements in your first draft just to keep you going. And I totally get that. All right. But when you go back over it, think about it, right? What can I say? What can I say in place of this filler statement? Okay. What can I say that has some significance? Okay. What can I say? What can I say? All right. Oh yeah, just another quick thing, or a couple quick things. This man, right? Where they do that at? All right. Type it out, man. Is this where we are? Like we don't type out and anymore? Right. We use the ampersand. No, don't use the ampersand in academic writing. Also, while we're on the topic, don't etc. your reader. Say what you mean instead of etc. Like I get that when we're talking, but when we're writing, your reader's gonna want to know, like, what did you mean right there? Don't etc. me. Okay. I just have a notebook of stuff I wrote down. And of course, this is why I type everything, because I'm reading something and I can't read my whole. Okay. Ow! And this especially applies to those of us who were absent Tuesday or did not have a chance to watch the recording yet. Before you start writing your assignment, your narrative rough draft, make sure you go over the directions. All right, because on your reflections there are a few that kind of went off in their own direction. All right, so and I'm all about encouraging independent thought, but I think within certain parameters in this class. All right, so make sure you have a clear understanding of what you are being asked to do. All right, now, okay, I am about to add something to this writing a narrative module, and it's something that we're actually about to cover right now. All right, let me just find it on my computer. Gonna look behind the curtain of this crazy stuff I keep in my computer. I was teaching a class the other night, and I was sharing my screen, and I had like a picture folder open, and people saw my pictures, man. All right, they were all like innocent pictures, but because those are the only kind of pictures I have.
I'm gonna go check that video out.
Actually, I was not recording that night, so
Oh wow.
Yeah. One time on the Auburn Hills campus, though, I did. This is back in the day, man. Like I think this is even before iPhones became a thing, but I did lose my phone somewhere on the Auburn Hills campus. So I was like, man, somebody is holding like a free A in their hands just with blackmail. All right, now. But all my pictures are innocent and wholesome, like deer and stuff. Baby deer.
I believe that.
Yeah, you should. You should. All right. Now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. I'm in the writing a narrative module. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see this thing called example. If you don't see it, just refresh your page and you'll see it, because I just added it like a second ago. So you may have to refresh your page. All right. Again, I'm in this the writing a narrative module. All right. And I'm all the way at the bottom and clicking on example. I'm not going to click mine because I already have one open. All right. And here's an example of a narrative essay. This is a real essay written by a student. All right. And whenever I show an example, no example is perfect. No essay is perfect. All right. But for me, this essay was really successful. And I will tell you, the things about it that really worked. Does your essay have to look like this one? No. All right. But should it have some of the features that this one has? Yeah, I think it would be a good idea. Okay, I think it would be a good idea. Okay, what really stands out about this essay is that it discusses an experience, right? So when you're putting your rough draft together, and this is something I said Tuesday as well, but when you're putting your rough draft together, again, your essay is not necessarily focusing on like the importance of your belief, right? We should be kind to others because X, Y, and Z. We should, all that's great. All right. But this essay is more about an experience that's associated with your belief. So you're telling your story or part of your story, because we don't have the space to to tell your whole story. all right? Meaning like your whole life story. All right, so make sure your essay includes an experience, or it's about an experience. That should be the focal point of the draft that you're going to put together. Okay, now let's look at this one. Let's have a look at it. Okay, I believe that love is a choice and will always find a way. All right. Okay. You can lead with your belief statement. That's cool. Just make sure that by the time your reader gets at least to the end of your introduction, all right, but hopefully you do it earlier than that. Just make sure your belief is clearly stated, right? Like this one opens with it. That is perfectly fine. I believe that love is a choice and will always find a way. All right. So now we know. Now we know what this essay is going to be about. Traditionally, your thesis statement would be here at the end of your intro. All right. And this is kind of a thesis statement, but for like your real thesis statement for these essays is going to be the belief statement. All right. Also, this is one of the only times in this class where you're going to use the phrase "I believe" in an essay. So take advantage. Take advantage. So that's the first thing that should be kind of common to every essay. All right, even though these are going to be unique, the one thing that they should all have in common is that the belief statement is clearly stated very early in the essay, whether it's the first line or whether it's somewhere in your introduction. Just make sure that it's clear. I believe that love is a choice and will always find a way. Okay. It didn't start off with like many people have beliefs or beliefs are important to us. Okay. Don't tell your reader what they already know. All right. And then most importantly, this essay, like your job is to keep the focus on you. Right. So don't go general with this essay. I believe that love is a choice and will always find a way. These last 18 months have been some of the most difficult, confusing, and amazing months of my life. Right. Words that really don't seem like they go together. Difficult, confusing, and amazing. Okay. But this one, it just goes right into the narrative, right? It goes right into the experience. I experienced the beginning of a pandemic, finishing my final year of university in Canada online, many fun and late nights with friends, heartbreak, and even finding love. All right. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole thing in case you were like panicking about that. Right? Last year, I was in a long-term relationship for about 3 years with a girl that I graduated with back in high school. Specific details, 3 years, right? Over the course of the pandemic, time really began to slow down with the lack of distractions such as work, school, and most of my friends. Because of restrictions and social distancing at the time, the only people I was around was my girlfriend at the time and my family. Because of these factors, I had a lot more free time to reflect on my life and start choosing what I wanted to do with my life moving forward. It was the summer of 2020. Details, concrete details. When did it happen? When did your experience happen? It was the summer of 2020 that I understood that I was loving my girlfriend more than myself and that I had not been receiving the amount of love back that I deserved. With the help of my closest friends, I built up the courage to take back that love I was throwing away and start giving it to myself once again. Right? Couple good things about this intro. Again, the belief is clear. There's concrete details. It starts the narrative. Okay. It shows the reader when this happened. All right. So think about that as you're putting your own essay together. Think about how you're going to start. Right. And you know you're not going to start with many people have beliefs or beliefs are important. Values are important. Okay. You know you're not going to start with Webster's dictionary defines belief as blah, 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 blah. Okay. You know you're not going to start like that. Right. And if you can't figure out how to start with your belief statement. Right? What do you believe? Or what's going to be the focus of this essay? All right. Now, I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs, not the whole thing, though. Not the whole thing. The whole thing is on D2L. You can read it, at your leisure. All right. The night I broke up with my ex. Uh-oh. All right. Okay. Sometimes you got to be sometimes you're the breaker. Sometimes, wait, what? Sometimes you're the dumper. Yeah. Sometimes you're the dumpy, if that makes any sense. Okay. Both hard positions to be in. All right. The night I broke up with my ex, my friend Matt, name the people in your narrative, even if you're giving them fake names. Right? Fake names to protect their identity. But if you don't give them a name, then your paragraph is going to keep saying my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. Right? So give the people in your narrative names. And like I said, even if you're using fake names, all right, that's perfectly fine. My friend Matt offered to wait at my house for me as emotional support. That's a good friend, okay? Because who knows how long that breakup was gonna take. He even offered to buy my favorite fast food to celebrate after, a spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes, okay? More concrete details, right? More concrete details, okay? I guess you're hungry after you break up with somebody. I don't know. You got to refuel, right? What better way to refuel than a Popeye's chicken sandwich, I guess. Okay. I
That's
remember
how some people deal with their issues.
Yeah. I think many of us, right, have been in a position where we had to maybe we had to eat our feelings. Okay. Yeah. Right.
But that sounds very delicious.
Yeah. I mean, like man, pizza is kind of my go-to emotional support food, man.
No, spicy chicken sounds perfect.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But I think when we're feeling how we feel emotionally, I guess that's where the phrase comfort food comes from, right? We just want something that tastes good to make us feel good. And, Ben & Jerry's, man, Cinnabon ice cream, man. I don't even eat ice cream like that, but that stuff is delicious. Right? I remember walking back to my car after leaving my ex's house feeling like a monster and that I had totally ruined this girl's life. Okay. But no, back to Popeyes though. That's a concrete detail, right? So instead of saying he offered to buy me my favorite meal and just leaving it at that, this student gave the reader something to visualize, right? So think about that. Think about, ways you can incorporate more specifics into what you're writing. Feeling like a monster. I did not even give her any prior indication of something being wrong. Out of the blue, man, just blindsided this poor girl. No, all right. I felt like I blindsided her in a way. Okay.
Cruel.
Yeah. Sometimes, hey, man. Things happen like that sometimes, man. Things happen like that.
Some people deserve it.
Yeah. But I think more than that, sometimes in pursuing our own happiness, we do have to release certain people from our lives. And that process isn't always smooth. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to release because we may have to release some people we love. Right. It's like, this love isn't really healthy for me. Okay. Or this kind of love. Right. Thankfully. Oh, now driving home was a challenge due to my hazy vision from my tears and constant wiping of my nose. All right. So he was, he's not a monster. He felt it. Okay. Thankfully, Matt was still waiting for me, parked on the road across from my house at 12 in the morning. After we ate at Popeyes, we drove around listening to our favorite songs with the windows down, wind blowing through our hair and hands out the window. Again, just an image, right? An image you can visualize as readers. Although I felt depressed about letting go and in tears about breaking my ex's heart, I felt like a weight had been finally lifted off my shoulders and I was ready to start this new chapter in my life. Now, okay? this narrative, just a couple more paragraphs and then we'll move on. I know. All right. But we're seeing like a sequence here. Right? First paragraph, okay, talks about this long-standing relationship. 3 years. 3 years is a long time. All right. And then this paragraph talks about the breakup and the feelings that came from that. So this feeling, this paragraph, the first couple months of being single felt refreshing and fulfilling, yet desolate and confusing. Again, I like how this student put words together that, or emotions together that are sort of conflicting, because I think that kind of reveals or it kind of shows the complexity of just being a human being, because we often do feel conflicting feelings, inside of us. It's like we were talking, maybe a loved one, right? We love this person, but they hurt us so much, so we're kind of conflicted about, man, I love this person, and it could be a family member, right? It doesn't always have to be in a romantic sense, but humans, we still deal with these complex emotions, or these conflicting feelings, and that's perfectly normal. And I think writing about stuff like that can help us sort through some of what we feel. I also had I had days where I really felt like I had a good rhythm and routine going, where balancing school and focusing on activities I enjoyed flowed perfectly. I also had days where depression would spur out of nowhere, choking up my core and making me feel as though I was back at square one again. Sounds about right after a breakup. I never realized how difficult it was to adjust to not having someone so prevalent be a part of your daily routine anymore. Uh-oh, second person point of view. All right, so if I had one more chance to conference with this student, I would tell him to get rid of second person point of view. It reminded me that at the end of the day, I am stuck with myself and my own conscience. Okay, but this is true, man. Okay, and some of you wrote about this in your narrative reflections, which I thought was a great thing. It's important to make sure you maintain a healthy relationship, loving yourself. Absolutely, absolutely. I would just switch it to just make it more personal. I maintain a healthy relationship, loving myself. Okay, now let me see. I'll read one more paragraph and then I'll read the conclusion. All right. I just want us to pause here because this is a good transition. So in your paper, just like I said, don't etc. your reader. Also, don't fast forward. Like people always say, fast forward to 2021. All right, don't do that. Okay, what do you mean by fast forward? Use a transitional phrase like this: after 5 months of really focusing on myself and meeting new people. That's much more descriptive than fast forward. Like, what were you doing in that time that you fast forwarded? Okay, after 5 months of really focusing on myself and meeting new people, I finally had a grasp of loving myself and understanding that loving myself is a choice, and so is choosing to love other people. Oh yeah, okay. And starting with that foundation of self-love, okay, you can then get into something that's that's maybe healthier. When you decide to get with another person, if that's your choice, right? In January of 2021, again, more specific dates, and you don't have to say, January 3rd, 2021, but January 21, that's good. Or winter, you can even make it more broad, like winter of 2021. That'll work too. But just be more specific. Be specific. I decided to go into the year not actively looking for love, but allowing it to enter my life on its own. Okay. And not very long after I made this decision to not actively search for love, a wonderful woman had taken a chance on me, this time on a dating app. Okay, her name was Lydia, fake name. All right. I thought that she had a breathtaking smile and had a good sense of humor based on her profile. But unfortunately, at the time, she lived in Detroit and I lived in Windsor, which both had closed their borders due to the pandemic. And it's still closed, right? Because truckers, right, are wilding out. Right? I didn't think much of what our interaction was going to be due to the international circumstances, but I couldn't have been more wrong. Okay, now foreshadowing. Foreshadowing means like you set your reader up for what's to come. But again, let's go back to our sequence, right? Here's the relationship. Here's the breakup. Here's being single. Here's opening your heart or finding that self-love, and then this person opens his heart, all right, and somebody else, walks in, right? First date, okay? Our first interactions were quite interesting and hilarious, okay? First date over FaceTime, right? Another transition after a month of FaceTime calls and texting, okay? And then the rest of this stuff, oh, okay, talks about their first meet up in person, okay? Very romantic, right, if you will. All right, and then let's look at the conclusion. One thing about your conclusion, you don't want to introduce any new material, but you also want to leave your reader with a sense of closure. What does that mean? It means that you don't leave them wanting more. Okay, bring them full circle, right? Complete your journey. A conclusion does just that, right? It concludes or it wraps up. Currently, we've been dating for almost 8 months, and we couldn't be any happier now that we are finally seeing each other on a regular basis. Even with all the hardships of long distance, love found a way to prevail through it all, which gives me all the more reason to continue loving her every day. I made a choice to love her, and now will continue to every day, because I know she has made the choice to love me as much. Now, let's look at this last sentence. Because of our choices, we have both made one another realize just how much more of ourselves there is to love, okay? And then let's go back to how this thing started. I believe that love is a choice and will always find a way. Because of our choices, we have both made one another realize just how much more of ourselves there is to love. Full circle, consistent, okay? Meaning the way it started is the way it ended, all right? And it told one cohesive story, all right? And you can go back through it if you want to read the whole thing, but it just has like some good detail, okay? Good detail, right? So yeah, okay. Again, my good people, that example is right here in the writing and narrative module. Right. We got more time. Okay, I want to look at our books too before we call it a class. Getting our $15 worth. Okay, we're gonna once we start revising these papers, we're actually gonna start using Inquisitive, but just not yet. All right, let's go. I'm in our book, and I have it bookmarked, so I just click this. But here's the website again, if you want to follow along in your book, or you can just look along with me. Okay. And then thanks for that news about the financial aid money, Claudia. I know I could use a hot 400 right now. All right, personal narratives. That's what we are. Okay, personal narratives. All right. Now, okay. Your essays, as I keep saying, right, are all going to be different. They're going to be unique, which is different. Okay. But a narrative, just like the one we saw, just like the ones on the This I Believe website we looked at, all right, should have certain aspects in common. Okay, and our book lays out a few of them, all right? One of the aspects that a good narrative has is a well-told story. Okay. That's why I keep saying, like, don't turn this into, you know, a research paper where you get all these quotes and you got all these numbers in there. I mean, that's good, just not for the paper we're working on now. All right. Keep it about you. Keep it about you. Okay. Most narratives set up a situation that needs to be resolved. Right. Like rediscovering self-love. Okay. As we just read in the essay we went over. Okay. You might write about a challenge you've overcome, for example, such as learning a new language or dealing with some kind of discrimination. All right. And I'm sure we've all had that experience on some level. Right. Whether we're discriminated against because of our race or gender, you know, our preferences, whatever. Okay. Lifestyle, right? Maybe you got tattoos on your face. Okay. People judge you for that stuff. Okay. Whatever. All right. But a well-told story, just to lead us into our next point, a well-told story includes vivid detail, right? Concrete language. Okay. It's Popeye's spicy chicken sandwiches. Right. And I use that as an example because, again, it's, you know, it's stuff that your reader can visualize, or it's images that your reader can visualize. All right. Details can bring a narrative to life by giving readers vivid mental images of the sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and textures of the world in which your story takes place. Yeah. Okay. Now, we only have 3 to 5 pages here. So you're going to have to make the decision, right? Like, what do I describe in vivid detail? And then, you know, when is a tree just a tree? Okay. So you're going to have to use like some writer's judgment, you know, when you're deciding, you know, what to describe. I would say a good way to make that judgment is to think about, you know, think about what's important to your narrative, right? Think about what details are important to your narrative. Okay, and describe those, you know, to the best of your ability. Also describe it and keep in the back of your mind that, you know, it is a rough draft that you're gonna keep working on. Okay. Dialogue is helpful too, right? Like if I say, you know, when I was 15 years old, you know, I got caught sneaking in the house after staying out too late. And after that, after my mom caught me, we had a heated exchange. Actually, it wasn't an exchange, it was just her yelling at me. Right? Exchange implies like a two-way conversation. All right. So that sounds good. But if we actually put some of that conversation in our writing, like my mom said, "What the hell are you doing coming in so late?" Okay. And I replied, "I've been here the whole time, Mom." All right. So dialogue is dialogue can bring your narrative to life. Along with giving the people in your narrative names, giving them voices can sometimes add another layer to your narrative. Okay. And then I think the significance of our narratives is just to, you know, talk about a belief and an experience that, you know, reinforces that belief. Okay. So and when I read this last point, I think about Aesop's fables. Okay. Like Tortoise and the Hare and stories like that, where there's a story, but there's also a message, like, you know, slow and steady wins the race and things like that. Okay. Now, right, here we go. What time is it? Right. Here's just some tips. Okay. We'll go over this and then there's one more thing. And we'll have at it for the day. Okay. I think we should be thinking, especially now that we're in like we're still in the brainstorming. We're still in the brainstorming stages, sort of. All right. So ask yourself, right, when you're thinking about your experience, right? When did it happen? Okay. Was it last year? Was it 10 years ago? Was it last week? Was it yesterday? Okay. Was it during your childhood? Was it the fall of 2017? Okay. Where did it happen? Okay. In your backyard, in your house, at school, right? Did you immigrate here? And did it happen, where you're, in your place of origin? Okay. Who was involved, right? Is it just you? Is it the people in your school? Is it your family? Okay. So we're asking ourselves these journalist questions: who, what, when, where, how, why. All right. And I think like that's a good way to get started. And when I say think about it, jot it down, right? Jot it down. I'm sharing my screen, so you guys probably, I don't know, yeah, you can see me, but I keep this, and I got stuff like this stashed all over my house. But I keep this next to me, and you can't really see, it just looks like a blank page. But it's, I just jot stuff down because, I forget stuff. But it also helps me, like if I have to write something, it helps me get my ideas focused. And that's something, going back to when I was a student, many years ago, not that many though, right? Just jotting stuff down, it helps me get organized. Because then I can look back at the ideas that I wrote down and say, okay, I want to pursue that one. That one's not such a good idea, and so on and so forth. All right. So think about it. Like the one we just read, right? Took place in multiple locations: Canada, the U.S. Do people say cyberspace anymore? I don't know, man. Okay, the internet is what I'm saying, because they had like FaceTime interactions or online interactions. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say cyberspace anymore. I don't even know if that's still a word. Okay. All right. Think about what happened. That's the most important thing. What happened? Right? What happened? Show your reader. Show your reader. Like if your essay is about the importance of self-love, show your reader how you live that. If it's about the importance of kindness, show your reader with concrete examples. Don't say like, one time I I helped this lady with her flat tire. That's cool. And if you're gonna talk about it, describe it. Okay, what happened? What happened? Like, were you on your way somewhere and you sacrificed being late in order to help this person? Okay. What are the details of your narrative? Or what are the details of your experience? Now, organization. Here's another common trait that all of these essays should have. Okay. Another common trait that they should have. All right. Just make sure that you're writing in an organized way. And what I mean is like intro paragraph, the body of your essay, which is also broken down into separate paragraphs, and then the conclusion. Okay. So don't just do like a giant paragraph for your entire essay. All right. Make sure you've broken it down. All right. Intro, where the belief, is clearly stated. Okay. The body of your essay, which communicates that experience or discusses that experience in as good as detail as you can muster up. And then your conclusion, where you kind of reiterate the significance, or you do a final reflection, or you add like a final thought, or you bring your reader full circle, like the one, like the example, we just looked at. All right. So here is, I think, like our book gives us a few ways to construct our narrative, but I think if we just stick to a chronological order, that may be in our best interest for this essay. And then our essays are going to be relatively short, 3 to 5 pages. So we don't have time to get too fancy, right? We don't have time to go like Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, like one of my favorite movies of his is Memento. And it's kind of a movie that's told in reverse, right? It's a good movie. It's about a person who loses his short-term memory, all right? And I won't say too much about that, okay? But anyway, that's neither here nor there, all right? So we don't have time. We don't really have the space for that. So we can just follow this chronology of events. Like if you look at the example we looked at, or if you think about the example we looked at where, it starts with that, being in a sort of a long-term relationship, it's breaking up, it's being single, it's meeting someone new, and then it's having this new relationship grow. All right, that's a sequence of events that's told in order. Okay, and when I read something like that, I can tell. Like even when I read the first draft of that essay that we just looked at, like I could tell that the student really thought through just the sequence of events that they're going to be narrating. Okay, so follow the sequence. Okay, follow the sequence. Okay, and I think all that begins with like putting that forethought in the essay. All right, now if you want to look at your I think this is a different class. All right, was it? No, yeah, this is a different class. Where we didn't talk about College Point, where this person's riding with somebody that's like shooting up heroin, like in the passenger seat. Okay. No, that was another class, because you probably would have remembered that. All right, so if you want to read this example, it is in the book. All right, interesting stuff here. All right, interesting stuff here. Okay, now, a couple more things before I let you go. Okay, before I let you go for the day. Okay, everything that we looked at. Okay, I'm still in this. I'm back on D2L, and I'm in this writing a narrative module right here. Okay, and there's a couple items in here that I want you to look at in your spare time. Okay. Yeah. All right. This is just a PDF, right, or an infographic. I like making these. I really prefer infographics over PowerPoint, and I use this site called Canva to make all this stuff. Canva's good, like if you have to do a presentation, but you don't want to do slides, even though you do have the option to create slides on there, but you can create these infographics. Okay, this is just why, or I say the importance of storytelling. All right, so you can go through that on your own. Okay. And then here are some slides in case you wanted some that bad. All right. I don't know if you listen to NPR, but they do like this storytelling series called The Moth, and it's just like everyday folks, telling stories about sometimes everyday stuff. Sometimes it's these unbelievable experiences that we have. I'm sure that we've all had, on some level. Okay. And then here's a discussion question. All right, now Miriam. All right. The discussion question is active. All right. If you can't see it, refresh your page and you will be able to see it. I just made it go live. I'm just gonna do a quick edit. I'm just gonna make this a little bit shorter. There we go. All right.
I think they're gonna last because he found a Canadian and we are top-notch women. So I just needed to put that in there. So
Okay.
I like it. I like that he, found himself a Canadian.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. That's the thing, man. Love knows no borders. Man. Love knows no borders.
I love those.
Yeah.
You know what?
Right, man.
That's a good one. I like it.
A wise person once told me that love has no jurisdiction.
That was it's a good essay. That was a good paper,
Yeah.
actually. It was very good, very detailed. It was good.
Cool.
It was good.
Okay. Now, a couple things we're on the hook for next week. Okay, one is the rough draft of our essay, first and foremost. Okay, when you're done with it, just throw that in the assignment folder, just like you did with your reflection. Oh, it has its own assignment folder though. I meant to say that. So don't put it in the reflection folder. Put it in the put it in this narrative rough draft folder. Okay. And then I'm going back to the content. Okay. Aside from doing your rough draft, there is a discussion post that I want you to respond to by Tuesday. Okay. And I talked about it Tuesday of this week, but I didn't make it visible. All right, but it is visible now. So like I was saying, if you can't see it, just refresh your page. All right, and it'll be there. Storytelling in some form is part of most human cultures. The stories we tell shape us as we embark on our path to self-discovery. Some even argue that our stories are essential to our evolution as a species. Our stories connect us and create lasting memories. As we move into writing our own narratives, let's begin with a discussion about the impact of storytelling. Review the content in the writing and narrative module, this module that we're in right now, and discuss your understanding of the importance of storytelling. Your understanding, okay? Not anybody else's, not something you're gonna search the internet for, your understanding. So really think about it. Think about how storytelling factors into your own life. And we tell stories every day, man. Even if it's like, hey, yo, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened in class this morning, okay? Tell you what happened in class this morning. All right, and then think about it in a larger scale, right? Think about the role of storytelling in the community, society, and culture, right? Sometimes it's to pass down lessons, pass down knowledge, pass down history, pass down culture, pass down recipes. Sometimes it's just for entertainment.
Pass down who you are. A story,
Absolutely.
when someone tells, you see their face expression, you can see them. Like I'm Nigerian, so we're naturally storytellers. Like, the story just goes on and on. But it gives you but anyway, sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No, I was gonna say storytelling features in most cultures in Africa, where it's it is how traditions are passed, from one generation to the next. And some cultures, may even be oral cultures where things are kind of focused on the spoken word. Okay, where you may have an elder or a griot or somebody like that just kind of passing these stories down. So yeah, stories are important. And I say most cultures, but I would I don't like to speak in absolutes, but I would venture a guess to say storytelling is a part of all human cultures, on some level. Okay. And then it's on a basic level, it's how we learn from the past. Right. So think about it. Right. But the most important thing about this discussion post is I want your take. Don't give me some answer that you think I want to hear, or don't give me some answer that you researched. Just try to make it personal. Try to make it personal as you can. All right. And even though it's not required for this assignment, you can reply to one another when you do your when you make your post. All right. And then this is the last thing. Okay. And as you know, by this point, there's about 10 more things coming from this. No, this is I'm not gonna say this is the last thing, but this is we're getting there.
Second last.
There we go. Now, I'm leaving the writing a narrative module, and I'm going back just as a reminder to this MLA documentation resources module. If you need help formatting your paper, check this one out. And then I think this is just me getting the page numbers up, but this is just me getting the page numbers up, but I do have another video of me doing the whole thing. So I'll find that and upload it to this module. All right, so check that out if you had issues formatting. All right, and then finally, this is the last thing.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay, so I'm hanging up if it's not.
All right. All right. So check out this Grammar Corner and error proofing resources module. All right. And there's a lot of stuff in here, but one of the things that I started to put on your papers, on some of the papers, is practice avoiding second person point of view.
Yikes.
All right. So just quickly, if we look at this example, okay. When it comes to points of view, right? First person is okay for this assignment, and first person is just like pronouns like I, me, we, us, our, mine, my. I think I already said mine. That's fine for this assignment. Okay. Second person, you, your, you are, not really cool for this assignment or any other assignment in academic, and that's kind of across the board, not just in this class. And we don't say you in academic writing because it assumes a relationship with your reader that you may not have, or it just makes assumptions about your reader. It puts them places that they were not at. Yeah. Okay. This morning in English 1510, we had a paper assignment. That's all good. It's all good. You have to write about an experience associated with a belief you have. All right. So right now your reader's thinking, like, I wasn't in that class. Right. So that's what happens when you say you. Okay. So that's why when as we were looking at this example, if I had one more chance to coach this student, I would ask them to get rid of or change this. Make it about me and myself and my own conscience. All right. But in this, where am I? Okay, in this Grammar Corner and error proofing resources, if you go down to point of view in academic writing and how to avoid second person point of view, these two documents will give you some guidance in avoiding you, your, and you are. All right. And then I love this site, Grammar Girl, quick and dirty tips. Okay. Like if you need help with run-ons or fragments. Okay, first spell fragment right. Okay, really spell it right. All right, you can just search it. All right, and then boom. And it gives you like quick explanations that you can either listen to or read. All right. So now, okay. So this grammar resource module, some of this stuff we'll go over in class, but most of it we won't, because I don't want that to be the focus of this class. But if you need some help, or if I put on your paper, start paying attention to run-ons or start paying attention to comma splice or fragments or whatever, check out this module. Okay. That was the last thing. Any questions for me before I release you?
Nope.
Okay. Now
Are we
for
in prison?
Tuesday, your rough draft and the discussion post. Okay.
All right.
If you're struggling with your rough draft, do not wait until 8 o'clock Tuesday morning to say, hey, Professor Norwood, I was really struggling with my essay. I'm stuck. Okay. 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, like right before it's due, or even the day that it's due, or even the day before it's due is kind of pushing. All right. Don't wait to the last minute if you're struggling, is what I'm saying. All right. But really, you know, just give yourself the freedom to get your ideas out without judgment. Okay. That's all I got, folks. Give me some time to get this recording uploaded. It'll be in our Zoom recordings module. Remember that. I'm not going to put them on the in the announcements anymore. Go to the Zoom recordings module.
Or
Right.
YouTube.
There you go. Or YouTube. Yeah. Okay. All right. So have a good week, folks, or a good weekend, man. Okay. Take
You
care of
too.
yourselves.
Thank you.
All right.
You too. I'm taking the tunnel.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Do something
Can't
you
take
like
the
this.
bridge.
You're right about that. I'm assuming the tunnel's
Right.
probably backed up too.
Mm-mm.
I'm probably not going to leave the house until Monday. No, I'm just joking. All right. So I'll see you all next week, folks.
All right. Have a good weekend.
All right. You do the same.